What's up, y'all? It's Anime Gamer back with another video. Tonight I'm going to be talking about blame shifting. There's quite a lot to get into with this as well, like some of the others I've gotten into, and I'm not going to make this one no 2 hours, so whatever I don't finish I'll do a second part of. But blame shifting is basically where when someone, will kind of deflect, they'll deflect responsibilities for their actions by like making excuses or like twisting truth, and it's a form of gaslighting, abuse. Yet again, another one of those that they're not taking accountability for their own actions. So it's like, there's a lot of those. They're just not taking accountability for their own actions, and it's just, it's another one of those pathetic things, like, that people do, and this stuff, I mean, it's just all over the world, like, anyway, basically, an example of blame shifting would be, like you're saying that someone else's actions, like, cause them to treat you badly. Like, that's one of the things that it is, and, that's just ridiculousness in and of itself, like, to say that someone else's actions, like, are caused because they treated you badly or something, and that's just ridiculousness, to be honest. Like, I'm not really going to comment too much on that. Another thing, too, is they'll claim if you had acted different, then the way they treated you would have been different. And that's kind of just like the first one, to be honest, so I'm not really going to say too much about that neither. Like, it's just, it's stupidness, honestly, yeah, people do it, honestly, and it's pretty stupid, but another thing that they really do is they will use excuses, they'll use excuses, and what they will do is they will minimize, they're big into minimizing, the said thing, and they will turn it around on you, and these people are toxic. They're not, they're not anybody you really want to be around, and, it's just, it's not fun to deal with it, This one's another one, probably if you've dealt with it quite often, you're going to have to deal with some sort of therapy or, some medical professional help, like mental health professional help, I mean, like, and, what you do is, how to basically look for this kind of type of behaviors, kind of look for excuses that don't match their actions. Like, another thing they'll do is, like, you'll start talking about, their actions, what they did wrong, and then they'll start blaming their childhood, and, or they'll be like, well, my mental health issues, or they'll blame it on anything, really, even if stuff, if it's part of the problem, like, they'll blame it on anything, but they refuse to take accountability, for what they did. And a lot of these topics I talk about, that's kind of the root problem is, they refuse to take accountability. A lot of them, others, it's not, but, that's a lot of them, is that they refuse to take accountability for their own actions, and it's just, it's ridiculous, you know, and another thing to consider too is also if they do this to like other people other than you, you know, so if they're doing it to multiple people, which is they probably are, you know, that's bad too, you know, so, you know, you also need to ask them if they do blame it on like their mental health, you know, like, ask if they're seeking like some professional help or something. You know, I know that's kind of just kind of cut and dry kind of stuff, but when it comes to mental health, that's really the one thing you can do. I mean, yeah, you can be there for somebody, but you know, if they're blame shifting, it's just, you know, you're going to want to talk about the issue at hand, and you can't do that if they're blame shifting. And so it's like, you know, you're not even going to be able to help them through like mental health or nothing because it's just not going to happen, you know. But anyway, another thing too is like, you know, they'll even use like, you know, oh, well, so-and-so, you know, caused me to act this way, so I'm sorry, you know, I'm doing it like that, you know, and that's blame shifting, you know, that's blaming someone other than yourself for the actions you committed. I mean, it's ridiculousness, honestly, and a lot of people do this, but, you know, a lot of people do a lot of this stuff I talk about, to be honest, and, I mean, another thing too is like, you know, they'll also sometimes even blame their actions on alcohol. Like, you know, they'll even do that. And, like alcoholics, they do play the game, the blame shift a lot. They do. So it's like, you know, I mean, because I don't really hang around alcoholics, but I've seen them do it. You know, I've seen them blame shift, and you know. I mean, it's kind of go hand in hand with their, like, you know, well, I don't have a problem kind of thing, like, but, you know, yeah, they will, you know, they'll say, sorry, like, stuff like, sorry, I wasn't taught any better, so it's hard for me not to do that, or, I only said that because my friend told me to, if you didn't want me to do it, then why did you do it? Or you do this? Or, you know, I wasn't thinking straight. I never do that when I'm sober. It's like, no duh. I mean, but, you know, that's just an excuse, obviously. But, you know, another one they'll do, oh, well, I can't help what I do when I'm drunk. That's another excuse, like for alcoholism, people that's blame shifting. And they'll also say, well, I tend to lash out when I'm reminded of my past. Like, you know, that's another part of blame shifting. And, you know, because what you're doing essentially is, you know, whatever it is you're lashing out about, you know, you're blaming the other person that you're lashing out to. And, you know, more than likely, it probably ain't their fault. So, you know, it's just kind of like, you know, it's just, it's pretty silly stuff, like, you know, but, another thing too is like they'll also like pretend at time, like a lot of times, like they'll pretend it's like some sort of sick joke or something, and you know they'll be like, "Oh, come on, I'm just having fun. It's comedy. It's meant to be challenging." Or another phrase you've probably heard: "You know, I don't actually think that. I just said it to be funny." A lot of people say that. To be honest, I've had that said to me. Honestly. It's like, you know, People's got a very sick, warped mind of what comedy is, to be honest. I'm not going to get into that, but they do. You know, or they'll claim that the other person that they're blame shifting towards is, you know, like, well, I can't help you're too sensitive, or, you know, like, why do you always got to be such a killjoy or a baby? Another thing, too, is like, you know, oh, it's not my fault you can't handle a joke, you know. It's like, you know, if it's a joke, you know, just kind of say it's a joke, you know. But, you know, like, kind of give, like, the impression that, hey, you know, this is a joke, you know, but kind of make them, like, gullible at the same time if it's a joke, you know. But no, the blame shifter don't do that, you know. They'll lie about it and just say, oh, it was a joke, you know. So, but, yeah, they'll always say, oh, another thing, too, they'll say, and I've had this said to me, too, oh, you're always sensitive about things that don't matter. You know, because if it doesn't matter to them, it shouldn't matter to you. That's honestly these people's mindset, to be honest. Like the middle class are honestly like this. Hardcore. Like I said, they do not lack empathy. They just don't. They do lack empathy. Sorry, they really lack empathy, and it's just they just don't have empathy, and a lot of people don't. You know, it's not just middle class. You know, but I would say they're a huge part of somebody that don't have empathy. You know, but yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, it's a lot of stuff to do with, oh, you know, not taking accountability for actions. Because, you know, nobody wants to do that anymore, it seems like. Nobody wants to take accountability for their actions. You know, they want to blame everybody else. Everybody thinks they're entitled in the Matrix. And, you know, I'm just so sick of that crap, to be honest. Like, everybody thinking they're just entitled or something. And it's honestly pretty sick, to be honest. Like, and it's honestly pretty pathetic, too. Like, because, you know, if you think you're entitled to something like that, like, you're just an idiot. Like, you're honestly an idiot. And, you know, the world don't owe you shit. Like, you know, it really don't. And, you know, a lot of people think it does. Like, a lot of people think that somebody owes them something. And, you know, how do you owe something, you know, when nothing was given, you know? So it's just entitlement behavior. So, you know, and another thing they will do is they will justify their actions with how much they care, by the way. Like, that's another form of blame shifting. I'm about to tell you how that is. You know, so, like, you know, basically, you know, like, how it works is like, you know, it's like, oh, I don't like doing this, but I'm only watching out for you. You know, it's like, if I say something that offends you or hurts your feelings, it's just like, you know, well, I'm looking out for you. I don't really care if you don't like what I said. It's like, you know, but, you know, there's a right way to do it. So, I mean, you know, but another thing is, you know, they'll go, oh, you don't understand now, you know, but you'll thank me later. That's another one, too, that they do to justify, you know, doing that kind of crap. And a big one that they do, now parents do this a lot, you know, and people in relationships do it a lot. Like, this one is probably the main one I've honestly heard, and it's honestly ridiculous. So, but anyway, sorry, I was trying to get that Doctor Strange. Anyway, yeah, they will go, oh, I only said that because I love you and want what's best for you. You'll hear parents say that stuff all the time. As a matter of fact, you'll hear parents say that more than anybody. Like, there's a lot of people that say it that's not, not your parent, but, that's where you will hear that the most. And I would honestly be surprised if you did not hear that, to be honest, coming from your parent. So, but, yeah, that's a really big one, and it's just, it's a clown world out there, like, for real, it's a clown world, and, that's what the Matrix is, essentially, it's a clown world, and, people, they love the Matrix, though, so, also, they'll also always claim that people will agree with them on that subject, like, oh, I only did that because I love you and want what's best for you, so, and then they'll go like, well, other people, like, other people would say the same, or something like that, and I'm not saying, that every time somebody says that they're blame shifting, but, a lot of times they are, and, it's like, what they do not want to take accountability for their own actions, and of something that they did, so they'll blame it on anything, and, like, there's a one song that, it's like a hip-hop song or something. I don't remember who it's by. I mean, I don't know. It might be, like, by somebody like T-Pain or something. Like, but, anyways, like, in the lyrics, he'll go, blame it on the alcohol or something like that. And it's like, that's blame shifting. That's what that's doing. That is blame shifting. So essentially, this song has taught people to blame shift. So basically, when people sing the song, they're singing the song about blame shifting. And I don't know, it's just really stupid. And, I'll tell you another one that they will use, like, especially the middle class, since they twist a lot of stuff, they will definitely say, look, I'm just doing what the Bible says I should do. They're huge on that. That they always say that, and sometimes I guess they do what the Bible tells them to do, but the Bible doesn't tell them to be heartless. The Bible doesn't tell them to blame shift, and that's not an excuse that can be used. And another thing, too, is like, a big one, they'll be like, well, I talked to your mom, she agrees with me, so why can't you? And this happens a lot in relationships, to be honest, and it is complete, utter bullshit, to be honest, because it takes a pretty low person, honestly, to do something like this, to be honest, and it's just, I don't know, it's just some ridiculous. And then, and another one they'll do, like, if it's at the, like, because even people do this at, like, the jobs. Like, they'll do it at their job, even, and, they'll be like, oh, well, our coworkers all know that you're the one in the wrong here. It's not me. I've heard that one quite a lot from, people talking with their coworkers and stuff. I've even heard that, like, I've heard that all my life, to be honest, and, it's just they don't want to take accountability. They really don't, and it's pathetic stuff. It's pathetic stuff, and nobody wants to take accountability for their own actions anymore, hardly anybody, and that's the problem. That's the huge issue with people, and that's what I want. I want, taking accountability for actions, but instead you're either met with blame shifting, they'll sit there and put their hands in their face and go, oh, or they'll sit there and blame it on somebody else or send some third party, you know, or whatever, you know. So it's just stupid stuff, man. It's stupid stuff, and it's honestly, it should never be done. Like, you know, it's just, you know, it's just like, you know, say like that, like when the apartment, you know, gets messy. Like, say an apartment gets messy, right? Like, you know, I can use this as kind of excuse because I know how this is too. Like, you know, so basically what they'll be is like, oh, the apartment's messy. Like, you know, when you don't clean up after yourself, and you know, you're the problem here, you know, and you're lazy, and you know, you're the problem, you know, you're the number one problem, and they may be the problem, you know, but you know, that's not the right way to say it, actually. You know, like what you would kind of say is, you know, hey, I'm uncomfortable, or like, I just don't like this, you know, with mess right now, you know, can you spend some time to clean it up? You know, but it's just, that's not how they view it, you know, and it's just, it's ridiculous stuff, you know, so, but it's just, like another thing too, honestly, is like, they will, how do I put this? Well, I'll say this first. They also play the victim card. You know, by playing the poor me victim card, you know, I know so many people that do this. Like, it's not even funny. And I'm honestly so tired of doing that. But, you know, and here, you know, if you called some middle class out on it, you know, but you was depressed, they would say you're playing the victim card. So, you know, the when it comes to middle class, they're just stupid all around. They got like book smarts or whatever, like books that don't even matter or something. You know, like, congratulations, you know, you know, some stuff in social studies that more than likely a lot of that stuff in the books has been edited and it's lies. Congratulations, you know, like, but, anyway, like, you know, yeah, they'll play the victim card, you know, that's what they will do, and, you know, it's just, that's all people seem to do, and, you know, they also have, like, what you call the stink bomb attitude, and that's pretty much like the go to hell attitude. Like, that's honestly really the nice way of saying it, is the stink bomb. But, it's just, yeah, it speaks for itself. Like, you know, it's like when the abuser gets caught and they've got nowhere else to go, you know, this clearly obviously means the person has no opportunity to defend or escape this conflict or whatever. So they will unabashedly or very angrily accept it and pretend that they ain't even at fault. Like, that's what they will do. And I've had this a lot in my life too, and, you know, I mean, yeah, everybody's probably done this kind of stuff, like blame shift at one point or another, you know, but it's like, you know, when you're doing it unintentional, though, you know, that's a little bit different, you know, like, you don't do it like all the time like that, or, you know, but these people who are doing it on purpose, which is most people that do it, you know, they're doing it because they want to do it. You know, they do not want to take accountability for their own actions. And I can't tell you how sick I am of people not taking accountability for their own dang actions. And it's just, I don't know, it's just stupid. Like, you know, it would make it a lot better if they would just own up to what they did, take accountability, change, actually be genuinely sorry, it would be better then, you know, but they're not going to do it, and so, you know, there's nothing really you can do about it. But, yeah, I mean, you know, it's a gaslighting tactic, you know, so, but, like, you know, it's honestly just ridiculous stuff. Like, it really is, honestly, for real, and you're going to need therapy if you've been to this, you know, because narcissists, believe it or not, they do. You know, I know this all too well too, and they blame shift all the time, never owning up to what they did, or if they do give you a sorry, it's a faux apology, like I talked about in the other video the other day. It's a BS apology. It's not a genuine one, and you know, so there's not really any reason to continue talking to these kinds of people that do this stuff, because they're not going to change. They see they did nothing wrong, you know. I mean, that's like, you know, a person who sins, you know, against God, you know, they're like, oh, well, nope, I'm not a sinner, you know, I did nothing wrong, you know. That's pretty much kind of what it's like, you know, so they're not going to take any accountability. Man, this Punisher is kicking everybody's ass. Yeah, it's just, it's crazy stuff. It really is. You know, all these topics is just, that I'm talking about, is just, it's a lot of stuff that's just, you know, it's toxic, you know, but, you know, a lot of people don't know about it, so it's like, you know, might as well talk about it. And, you know, another thing too is, like, you know, blame shifting in a relationship, that can also end a marriage. It's definitely going to end a relationship too. And, you know, the first thing you need to, like, kind of look for is, like, you know, communication gaps between you and your partner or your family member or whatever. And another thing too is, like, you know, you start believing everything is your fault. Like, you start believing no matter what it is, you're the one to blame, no matter, even if they did it. Like, you're the one to blame. And it just kind of goes from there. And then, you know, it becomes to the point to where, like, you know, you start becoming afraid to make, like, decisions. And, you know, also you'll lose out on intimacy, and then you'll start feeling resentfulness to your partner, you know, or the person, you know, and but that's what it is, you know. When their partner does that, they lose out on intimacy, and they start feeling resentment. And, you know, when they start doing that, it's over, you know. So, but it's just it's crazy stuff. But another thing too, it'll give you poor self-esteem. You know, but yeah, they'll give you poor self-esteem, and, you know, like, when you become resentful to your partner, you know, on this, or any kind of resentfulness, you know, you'll attempt to avoid going home to them, you know. And it's just, you know, when it reaches that kind of level, that kind of point, you know, you'll be lucky if marriage counseling even helps, like, at that point. Because, I mean, I would say try it, you know, because, you know, God does say, you know, don't divorce unless it's like cheating or they're beating you or something, you know. But, you know, it's going to end in divorce, though, because, you know, if they don't willing to change, you know, that's what more than likely it's going to end to. So, you know, there's not a lot of help out there, you know. And I'll tell you another thing that they do too, you know, like the person who's being blame shift, they will stop opening up to their partner. They will stop opening up to them. They will find no reason to open up to them. I mean, I know what that's like too, and you know, it's just you'll pretty much feel like no longer your partner's like not with you, not on your team. You know, like kind of like, you know, the expression, like, you know, like say if you're a man, you'll feel like, you know, you've lost like your biggest cheerleader or your cheerleader, or however you want to word it. You know, there's words like that, terms like that, it's worded that way. But you know, it's just, yeah, when you stop opening up to the partner too, it just, you know, it's done. You know, a lot of times it's done. You know, and it's like, you know, negative communication increases. You know, it's like, hey, you know, every time we communicate, it's going to be negative. So, not good neither. And, you know, another one that's bad, you know, I know what this is like too, you know, is you start feeling like extreme loneliness. And, you know, if you're feeling like extreme loneliness like that, you know, that's very bad. That's very bad. That's not good. You know, it's like, you know, at that point, you know, you just kind of, if you stay in the relationship, you're kind of like, you know, whatever happens, happens kind of thing, you know, and eventually it will, you know, it'll end. It'll end, and so, but, yeah, I mean, you know, you'll also feel like low self-esteem, like I said, low confidence. You know, you'll start feeling like nobody's able to understand you. You know, you'll understand that your self-esteem has taken quite the blow, and you know, you'll just feel that you're all alone. You know, this feeling of loneliness honestly manifests from depression. I know what this is like all the time, to be honest, because I've got depression, and you know, it's just it's crazy stuff, you know. And the next thing is the last thing on like some of the things I was naming, I'm gonna name, is you start accepting their behavior. You start rewarding bad behavior, and I've talked about rewarding bad behavior. I thought about doing a separate video on rewarding bad behavior. I don't know yet, but yeah, you'll start accepting it, you'll start rewarding it, and you know, when you start doing that, that's going to show them, hey, I can get away with anything, and I don't have any consequences, you know. So, because, you know, people don't want to own up to their actions, you know, and when they do bad actions, they don't want the consequences of it neither. So they don't want to learn. They just don't care. They don't care at all. And so, yeah, you know, but it's just, it's rough stuff. It's honestly rough stuff. And, you know, I don't wish it on anybody, to be honest, you know. It's just, you know, it's not any good. It's not. But, you know, it's also a form of verbal abuse, you know. I know all about verbal abuse. I've had it my whole life. You know, I'm early 30s, and I know what it is, you know, and it's just, you know, but it's just one of those things. But yeah, it's very manipulative too, and you know, so it's rooted in narcissism as well, you know. So yeah, there's that, you know. We've talked about that on here a lot already, but yeah. Sorry if my voice doesn't sound the same in this video. I've not had a good day at all, and but yeah, they will not take the blame, you know. And before anybody says anything, it's not because of blame shifting. While I've had a bad day, this is just kind of the topic I chose to talk about. But you know, it's just, I don't know, just grief getting to me, I guess. But yeah, Jeff got me. Yeah, I thought I would talk some about this. You know, so it's very, very crazy stuff, honestly. It's just, if you're dealing with blame shifting, you know, do yourself a favor, just leave. You know, just leave, because unless they're going to try to change, you know, unless they're going to change and say, hey, you know, own up to what they did, you know, but if they're blame shifting, more than likely they're not going to. So I don't know, I'm just kind of really sick and tired of all these people will never take accountability for their actions, you know. I don't know, it just pees me off. But I guess that'll do it for this video. I don't really have anything else to say on it right now. I may follow up with another one about it, but if I don't, I don't, you know, so. But, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and, you know, I'll try to upload, like 2 videos tomorrow on certain topics. Yeah, so I'll see y'all in the next one. You know, God bless you all, and have a good one.